Hello, I'm Deb Keyes with Stampin' on the Hill. Welcome, and thank you for joining me. It is, can you believe, the end of September already? In the fourth week of the month, I usually do a fun fold card for you. So today we're going to do an angled Z fold card. Let me just jump right in because I feel like this one's going to take a little bit longer than I usually like to have these videos. So let's jump in and I'll show you the supplies I'm using. I'm going to try to use the Be My Valentine. Well, I am going to use the Be My Valentine stamp set. We're not going to use any of the dies or the punch, I mean, that goes with it, but we're just going to use the stamp set. And then I have, this is Wild Wheat. We're going to turn it sideways. So actually it's going to be 8.5 by 5.5. And then I also have a piece that is, I have to look at my 3 3/8 this way by 2. And then I have the layer that goes on there, which is just 1/8 of an inch shorter. So this one is 1 7/8. Oops, that's this way. 1 7/8 by 3.5. So 3.5 by 4 7. 1 7/8. Sorry. And then I have a piece for the inside, which is 4 by 5.25. So we're going to move all these. Oh, and I forgot the DSP. Because DSP, I think I've shown this to you before, but it is so pretty. This is from the Thoughtful Journey, and it comes as a 6 by 6. And I'm just going to flip through them in it quick so you can see the fronts are all a little bit different. Let me pull this off some more so you can see better. The fronts are one thing, the backs are another. Here's the back of this one. There's a little bit of graphics on there, but I'm noticing that most of them are kind of just, can you see what I'm doing here? I have to keep looking at my screen to make sure you can. I love these colors. This pretty peacock in there, that's beautiful. What's the back of that one look like? Ooh, that one's pretty too. I could have used that in today's, but anyway, this is, ooh, that one's cool. I love this pretty peacock color. I don't know what it is about it, but I just love it. Anyway, so that's the DSP. We're just gonna use one piece, and we're gonna pretty much use almost all of it. We're gonna set this aside for now, though. I showed you the back of that one. All right, set this aside for now, and we're gonna concentrate on cutting and scoring our card space here. So we're going to score this at 2 1/8. Can you see I can barely see it, but 2 1/8. We're going to score. Don't forget, you use the light colored scoring blade. Don't accidentally cut it. So got to move that one out of the way. And then we're going to score it again at 4 1/4. So that's typically where we would score our card anyway, is at 4 1/4. So we just made one more score line halfway between these two edges. Then we're going to fold it like this, and then we're going to fold this one back. This is very similar to one of the other ones we did. Sorry, I forgot to grab a bone folder. One of the first ones that we did, I think, was something similar to this. So we're going to score and crease these edges here a minute. Then what we're going to do is we're going to measure up 3 inches from this side here. We're going to measure 3 inches up, and then we're going to make a mark right here. And I tend to just make the mark with my scoring blade. So I'm going to measure, okay, folds like this. So I want to measure 3 inches up from this side. So if I measure 3 here, I can use this and just make a little tick mark in it. Are you with me? Pull this down a little bit. Okay, so then we're going to use the tick mark that we just made, and we're going to line up the tick mark in your gutter. So we're going to cut off the top, and then the other score mark down here. we don't need that one. We need a cutter one. So cut the top right off of there. This is just scrap now. So now it looks like this. All right. Okay, so now we need to do some cutting with our DSP. The first thing I'm going to do, this is directional. If your DSP that you're using is non-directional, this probably doesn't matter as much to you. But I'm going to cut the bottom of this off first. So I'm going to make it 5 1/4 by cutting off 3/4 of an inch off the bottom. And then I'm going to take that 3/4 of an inch and I'm going to cut a 1/4 of an inch that I'm going to end up using on the inside. So this piece right here is scrap. Don't throw it away because, you know, you can use this for anything else. And then I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to use this, which side I'm going to use, but it's there and ready. Then I'm going to cut the rest of this in 2-inch strips. So it should be 5 1/4 this way. And we're going to cut 3 2-inch strips from it. And we're going to keep these. I want to keep them in order because I want the seam to show. So there's 1 and 2, and these are kept in order. And it doesn't matter. You can pick which 2 you want, but you want either these 2 or these 2 to be, I think I'm going to pick these 2 because this one will be taller on this side. All right, so now I'm going to take I'm going to bring back my, let's move the cutter out of the way a minute. Is that right? Yes. We're in the middle. I'm just lining them up together, and I'm going to lay this over the top of it with the top here getting to the top corner there. And I'm lining up the bottom so it's straight. I'm using my grid here to make sure it's straight and make sure this is straight as well. Looks pretty good. And lining it up. Then I'm going to use a pencil and I'm just going to make kind of a light mark because that's going to be my cut mark. And move that out of the way, and then we'll cut these. I'm going to cut them one at a time rather than hope that you're not going to probably be able to see this very well, but here's my line, and I'm going to lay it in the gutter here, and I'm going to cut the top of that one off, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this one, lay the line in the gutter, and cut the top of that one off. So now these 2 are still going to be the seam, okay? And then what I can do with this one is I'm going to take the 3rd piece, I'm going to rotate it this way, and I'm kind of do the same thing with this one, where I'm cutting. I'm going to make a mark here because I want it to be the same. And then I'm going to cut this one. So I chose to use the reverse side. You can use the same side as you want. You know what? I didn't do that very well. Let's try this again. There we go. Oops, wrong blade. Okay. So now that's going to be one side and this is going to be the inside. Okay, I think we're done with the cutter for the time being. So let's bring this back in. And this was the outside. So these 2 pieces are going to go here. And they should line up fairly well, leaving about a 1-inch, or I'm sorry, a 1/8 inch gap around the sides. They should. And then this piece is going to go on the back side. I did it wrong. Darn it. It's going to go this way. So you are going to be able to see it. Like this, and like this, and like this. Okay. Well, we're going to glue them on. because it is what it is. When I calculated this ahead of time, I had it all right in my head, not taking into consideration that we turned the card upside down. I mean, the back side. I should have cut them all the same. Like this one should have been cut this way instead in order to flip it upside down and have it still be the same angle up there, but it'll be fine. So you can learn from my mistakes and do it the right way. But in the sake of time, we are going to just line these up, and then I'm going to put this one here. Okay. There we go. All right. So this is what this looks like so far. Kind of cool. I like it. That's that part. So now we have some stamping to do. I'm going to grab my piercing mat because this B stamp is the solid parts of it are quite well. It'll because it's a photopolymer and it's so solid. We're going to want the sponge under it. Let's get this out of the way for now. All right, so the colors I'm using, Petunia Pop, Crushed Curry, and Mossy Meadow. And what did I decide? I'm going to do the bee body in Crushed Curry. And you know what? Let me grab a piece of scratch paper quick because I wanted to stamp off. There we go. I'm going to stamp off once. And then I want my bee to kind of be going upward. You'll notice that I'm trying to leave enough room. This strip right here is going to end up going down the side. So I'm trying to leave enough room for where my image is so it doesn't get in the way. And we're going to bring in some Memento Black and see if I can line up the bee's tail here while I'm on the camera because, you know, that works so well usually. But we're going to wing it and it's going to be perfect no matter what we do. All right, so then I also we need to add some antenna to him. We'll put them closer to the front right here. And we need to add, let's stamp that one off so that doesn't accidentally get on something else. And we'll add him a little face. I'm calling him a him. It could be a her. Little face. And then, let's see. I have some wings. Wings are, it looks like a heart, you know, and then there's actually a heart in this stamp set. So you could use that to fill in the wings, but you can also use it as a heart. Let's see. Let's pull this off so I can get a better idea of where I'm stamping the wings. Cute. Good enough. All right. We'll put that back on there. And then I also wanted to use the little zoomy zoom. Let's put this under here a little bit in case we go off. We'll just stamp it down there. So that's kind of cute. All right. So then I wanted to use the honeycomb and I think I'm done with the black for now. With the honeycomb, I wanted to try to just add a little bit to the bottom and you'll see why. Let's move my paper to this side. So honeycomb on the bottom. Are you with me here? Yes. And I'm going to stamp off a little bit because nothing likes to be perfect, right? And then, how did I think I was going to do this? Maybe just again next to it. Move this out of the way. And I'm lining this up like this. Yeah, like that. So just a little something on the bottom. I'm also going to put this on here. I'm not sure which way. I guess because I used all the same color on there, I should use the same color here too, huh? All right, let's add this. It's not really going to matter. I didn't cut. Well, this is still cut to 6 inches long, so I can vary where it's going to go. I think I want to bring it down from the top. Line that up, and then some snips. Flip this over. Easiest way to cut it evenly is to flip it over and use your cardstock for a guide. All right, and we're going to come back to this in a minute because we need to figure out, well, we can still do it. Let's do it this way. This is going to go in here. This is the middle or the inside. And our greeting, although we haven't stamped it yet, is going to go on the flap. So by eyeing this up, and I want it to come all the way over to the edge of here. So by eyeing this up, I want to make sure that my greeting that I'm or my sentiment that I'm putting on the inside of the card is covered up by this, because you don't want to see it while the card is closed. So I'm going to use, let's close up that. I was going to use Mossy Meadow for the sentiment on the inside. And I have a trick to show you later when we do the beginning or the thing on the front. So let's see here. I'm kind of lining this up where it's going to go. I probably could glue it down, but if I mess up, then it's glued down and I can't start over. So I'm thinking about here. Stamp this about here. I love you no matter what. Okay, now I can glue this down to the inside. I think I've told you this before, but I always stamp all the pieces before I glue them together, just in case you make a mistake. You know, you could always turn this paper over and start again if you needed to. All right, so that's that way. And this is going to be, let's move this and this out of the way, and let's stamp our greeting. So the greeting that I chose is, "You'll always be the one for me." And I'm thinking I was going to do it. I'm going to do it in Memento. So here was the tip that I was going to show you. When I was practicing with this, I wanted this to be in the middle, and then I was going to put flowers on either side. So I took my flowers and I stamped this on a piece of scrap paper. We can just do it right now, can't we? So we stamped this on a piece of scrap paper, and then I took my stems and leaves and I set them down right on either side where I wanted them to be, and then I ended up picking them up with my block. Then I took the flowers and I laid them down on top of, because I stamped it, and I laid them down on top of there, and then I was able to pick up where the flowers are going to go. So if I did it just the reverse, this then would make sure that there's room for my greeting right between the two. So because we have the green out first, let's ink this up and get this here. I'm making sure that my stems are coming off the bottom. And I'm trying to line it up, center it left to right. And stamp straight down, back up. That worked out perfectly. Okay, so now we're done with the mossy meadow. And we're going to bring in the petunia pop to do the flowers themselves. And again, I use that same method to line these up. And then I'm going to get my head in there. And we're going to wing it because I can't really see with the camera right there in my head. Oh, it's close. I can live with that though. And then nothing has to be perfect. That's the great thing about stamping, is that it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I was going to use black for this. You'll always be the one for me. So now that the flowers are there and I've already measured it, I know right where I want to put my greeting. And then that is going to layer on my other short piece of wild wheat. And I feel like it's a little bit wet still yet. That petunia pop was really juicy. And now this, we want to make sure is going to go, I want it to line up here, the edge with this edge there. And I want to make sure that it's down far enough to cover my inside sentiment. So I'm going to put it about here. Here's another tip for you. If you know about where you want it to be, and you know that you only can glue right here, the easiest thing to do is flip it over, line your edges back up again, and then you know that the glue can't get past this point right here. So just one more tidbit of information. Okay. Again, I'm going to line this up here. I want it to come down some, I think. And then I'll press that down. So there's our card. Huh. Okay. Let's find our, here we go. All right. So hopefully you are going to try that one. It didn't go as long as I thought it would, which was kind of nice. I figured it would take me longer to do all of that explaining. And then a little bit of a oops that I had there on the back. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Because it still looks good closed, because that back part, back here was the part that I thought was going to be the reverse side of my DSP, but it turned out okay. It looks good like this, I think. I probably should have planned it that way to begin with, but I didn't. Anyhow, so, we all make mistakes, and covering them up is half the battle. So I just want to, what was I going to say to you? I guess that's it. I hope you enjoy it, and let me know in the comments or show pictures or whatever. If you attempt this, I'd like to see what you're creating with it. Until next time, thanks for watching.